What's up, guys?
Morning, Spencer. Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
All right, again, if you have a question, please use the raise hand button. And Luciano, once again, go ahead.
Hey, Spencer. I hope you're doing well, and thanks for your time. With half a season under your belt, what would you say has been the highlight of your time here at UNC?
I think my highlight so far has just been playing with these guys. They're a great group of guys. They come each day ready to work, ready to play, so that on Saturday we're ready to go. And I think that's directly correlated to what our record shows right now is 5-1, and every day everybody's working hard, and I've really enjoyed that aspect first half of the season.
Thanks.
Tommy Ashley, go ahead.
Hey, Spencer, how has it been developing chemistry with these guys, being sort of the new guy, but with a ton of experience yourself?
For sure. Being the old head in the offense line group, I bring a lot of knowledge. And so with that, I'm teaching a lot of the young guys and encouraging a lot of the guys that have some experience. And I think just through that, you build chemistry right away. Talking with people, practicing every single day, coming to meetings. It is one of those things that happens naturally. And like I said earlier, we've got a great group of guys that are coming ready to work. And so that chemistry is just coming naturally.
Let's go to Dina King.
Spencer, obviously this will be your first Duke Carolina experience. Have the guys told you what to expect in Durham in this rivalry?
Of course they've told me, but that doesn't compare to what I can only imagine it's going to be like. I've heard that for the guys who've played at Carolina, who are on the staff that are alumni, they say this is the only game that matters, and that if we beat Duke, they'll be happy as all can be. And but like I said earlier, you can only say so much about this rivalry, and I'm excited to experience it on Saturday and see what it's truly like.
Adam Smith, go ahead.
Spencer, Dina beat me to it. I was going to ask you about a rivalry question, but you've obviously been playing games in the fall, the last couple of falls. Do you have when you hear UNC Duke, does basketball jump out because of what that means in the winter? Is that something you think about when you hear Carolina Duke, the basketball rivalry too?
Of course. And I have a relationship with a few high school basketball players that actually played basketball at Duke. And so that relationship between Duke basketball, UNC basketball, and that rivalry definitely holds. And, basketball is a huge thing at both these universities, but as you can see, football is also a big thing. And I think this rivalry is going to be just as important come Saturday.
Right. Well, who are those guys? You mentioned it. Who are the names?
Trey Jones, Gary Trent Jr., and then Tyus Jones when I was younger. But obviously he was 4 years older than I was.
Yeah, some pretty good guys.
Yeah.
Have you tried to ask any questions? Like, when you've heard coaches or players talking about UNC Duke in terms of football, have you said like, all right, now what exactly is the victory bell or anything like that? Have you got a couple questions in to try to research this at all?
I have not. I've just been focusing on, being Duke and keeping that victory bell. Once we do that, I'll make sure to do my research and be caught up. But the most important thing is that victory bell stays here come Saturday.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Over to Michael Coe.
Hey there, Spencer. I know you weren't here last season, but it appears the offensive line is much improved in as far as giving up sacks and just protection of the quarterback. What would you say is the best thing that Coach Bicknell has been doing this season to coach you guys up?
I think what Coach Bicknell does great is he brings intensity, and he makes sure that we realize the different protections that we need to execute on Saturday based off of different pressures, whether that's third down pressures or base down pressures. And there's really a large emphasis on that so that Drake May, he can do his thing back there in the quarterback and not have to worry about any pressures or D linemen getting to him. But I think just as a unit altogether, we've really emphasized we know what our story was last year, and we don't want to fall down that same path. And so we're really taking initiative to change that story this year.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, last one for Spencer will come from Art Chansky.
Hey, Spencer. I'm from Boston, grew up watching Ivy League football a lot. And I'm sure you've been asked this question a million times, but the first time you got into the first game at Carolina with the stadium, what's the main difference that popped out for you between your career in Ivy League football and what you're going through now?
For sure. Other than the Harvard-Yale game, we don't get a big crowd come, your regular season games in the Ivy League. And so I think the major difference for me was having that crowd, having the Carolina faithful in the stands, and even going to away games. Last week at Miami, we had a great crowd. When we went to App State, we had another great crowd. And so playing in those atmospheres, I think, has been the largest adjustment from the Ivy League play coming to Carolina this year.
Did you was that the thing, did that surprise you at all? Was that the thing that was most exciting to you, anticipating that, or what has been the biggest surprise, if there is one?
Yeah, for sure. I was definitely anticipating and looking forward to the larger crowd size. But I think the thing that I've really enjoyed is the competitiveness of our competition. It's each week we're getting a set of D linemen and defense that brings different challenges, each week. And I think that's where I've really enjoyed coming to Carolina. It's a different palate and taste than the Ivy League, and being able to go against these different defenses, execute my skills in a new way, and really fine tune those skills, I think has been really impactful for me this year.
One last question. Did you have any doubt coming from the Ivy League that you could play in Power 5 football? And how did Coach Brown factor into convincing you that you could?
To be honest, I didn't have any doubt. We've had previous Ivy League players do that same transition, and I knew that I was the caliber of player that could make that transition. I knew that it was going to maybe take a little bit longer and just get acclimated to the speed and the tempo and the depth of these players. But once I got used to that, I knew that I could be successful here.
How many Harvard-Yale games did you win in your career?
We won 2 games, so we only had 3 games in total. So I won my freshman year at the Fenway Stadium. Then my sophomore year, we lost, unfortunately, in overtime, and we had the protest at halftime. And then we had the COVID year, and then we came back at Yale my senior year and won on the last few minutes of the game.
Wow. Okay, I hope you add this one to your list of great memories.
For
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Spencer, thanks, man. Appreciate a few minutes.
Yep.